the webinar presented by Mendez University. My name is Maria René Davila. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Global Trade Chamber. And like I have a special guest this month who's going to talk about something very important, which is the stress. How to stress and anxiety impact the performance in various fields and effective strategies for managing stress and anxiety to enhance performance. I know that sounds like it's too much information, but believe me, we are living in a society where the stress is taking over, and we need to learn more on how to manage this, what strategies implement to live better, to be happy, to have the balance that we're looking in our lives between work and family and even a personal level. So if you are a business, if you're an entrepreneur and you're overwhelmed because you have so many things to worry about and you're actually stressed every day, this presentation is going to be perfect for you because it's going to teach you how to improve, how to eliminate the stress and anxiety, but especially strategies that are going to help you to live better. And for this purpose, I want to bring and welcome to my special guest, which is Dr. Rios Ortega. Dr. Ortega is a clinical psychologist with more than 2 decades of experience. With a doctorate and master's degree in clinical psychology, Dr. Ortega is working at Mendez as a faculty member in the Orlando campus. And she has worked at Virginia Commonwealth University, Valencia College, the Florida Department of Corrections, rehabilitation facilities, shelter for victims and survivors of domestic violence, and conducted clinical research with Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company. And currently, she's working private. She's doing a private practice in behavioral health Minute Clinic. So obviously, Dr. Rios is the right person to talk about stress, anxiety, and how to manage all these issues that are affecting our lives every day. So welcome, Dr. Ortega.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's been a pleasure to have this opportunity to be talking with our audience in turn what is stress, how is stress, and how we can manage and have different strategies to be more in balance and healthy in life.
Absolutely. I love the topic because it's something extremely important for our lives. It doesn't matter, regardless the field, regardless the type of work that you have, you need to know how to balance your life. And even, especially when you are an entrepreneur and you basically are working 24/7 for your own business, is very difficult to balance and to separate the stress, the problems, and then you start having anxiety and you cannot sleep. That is the life every day. So talking about anxiety and stress from a business perspective is extremely important because we need to know how to do it. So thank you so much for making the time to share all your valuable inputs in this presentation. And now I'm just going to let you start with the presentation. I'm going to be here taking notes and listening.
So, Maria, it's been a real pleasure to be here with you today. And we're going to be talking about trying to understand what stress will be affecting my performance, not only in my work, but also in my life. But most important, what strategies we can use in order to balance our life. So in that way, we can go and see the objective that we're going to be here today. One of the first objective going to be trying to understand the difference between what is stress, anxiety, and stress. You can put the other slide so our audience can be able to see our objective. We're going to be examining the impact of the stress in the anxiety on performance, and that is so important. And the end of the webinar, I hope that everybody will be able to determine the importance of positive management of stress and anxiety in their life. So we're going to go to define with the other slide what is stress and what is anxiety. When we talk about stress, we will be talking about that different changes that we're going to have in our body and how that changes in the body also will be able to make like a demand in us. As example, We can be begin to be feeling like headaches, or I don't know what it is, but it's something that I can say. Then I'm feeling like tense, like pressure in my shoulders. And most of the time, I say, shake your shoulders and touch your shoulders, and you can find it and it is very, very tight. That's part of the stress. So what is the difference between anxiety? So anxiety is more the feeling. You're going to feeling worries, nervous, sometimes uncertainty about what is the outcome of the result of the situation that you're having. So that worry most of the time is you cannot able to control and is in your thought. And when you are there, you're like trying to do something, but you continue thinking like, oh, I need to do this project. And you are talking with your family, but in reality, your mind is not there, it's in the project. So that is where begin to have anxiety. We're going to go to the next slide. And that's going to be, you can give it another, give again, enter. So we're going to see the different. So we're going to be seeing how both anxiety and stress going to be impacting the the performance in a negative way if my perception of the stress and the anxiety is negative. So in that way, we wanted to be able to manage the anxiety, because if I don't manage the anxiety, I can begin to be able to feel, then I will be losing concentration. I will be my productivity begin to be poor. I begin to feel overall internal performance, not only in the, like I was saying, in the work, but also in my daily life with my family, with my friends. And if I don't know if the audience was able to see, my first slide was about vacations. And it's because sometimes we feel, oh, I'm going to the vacation, it's going to be so relaxed. But if I go in and I lose the train, or my flight is delayed, so I begin to have like, oh, this is not going bad, but I'm able to see, then I can resolve that situation. I will be able to enjoy. And that is what we wanted to obtain today. So we go to the next slide to be checking how that negative perception can be stressing us and affecting us in a negative way, but then we going to have strategies to feel better. So stress can be overwhelming, can affect my concentration, can impair performance, and if I not take care of them, can finish with burnout, and that's we don't want it. I'm going to explain a little bit more about the burnout in a few. So we're going to go to the next slide. So that also when we have a lot of stress, so when you are making that decision, maybe you are thinking, oh, before I was able to take decision like that. So right now I'm not sure what decision I'm going to take. It's because in your brain it's been having some changes, and you are having some situations that is not happening in reality. So your brain under the situation is looking for a surviving area, then is given to you too much alternative, and you are not able to focus in what happened in reality. And if I continue having a very bad perception of the situation, I can begin to have physical symptoms. What kind of physical symptoms? I can have headaches, muscle tension, stomach pain. I have some people, then they begin to have vomit, diarrhea, and it's so awful. They go to the physician, and the physician say everything is all right, and they go, you are not understanding me, because I'm having pain in my stomach, and they are not able to identify. Then what is happening is, then the situation then they're having is having an accumulation, and the body is talking to you, is allow you to know, you know what, we need to balance this in one way or another. So it's so important to know what happened in terms of a negative perception of the stress. We go to the next slide, please. So that negative perception will be affecting my performance in what way? So in terms of the workplace, I'm going to be having can be reduced of productivity. But if you begin to feel so tense, uncomfortable in your job, you don't want it to go to work. So you begin to be calling to because you are feeling sick. So you begin to be absent of the work, and you can be also begin to have conflict with your coworkers because your mood change. Now if you begin to have so much worry about what you're going to be doing, so you are not receiving the information like your coworker is telling you. So in that way you are being in a mood that is more defensive. So, and that increase the conflict with the colleagues. So we don't want it to have that. We wanted to be able to see it in a different way, and we're going to see it in a few. So we're not going to go to the next slide, please, where we are able to see that stress, if I'm not able to control and I begin to be absent to the job, I begin to have conflict with my coworkers, or if from a school, I have some teenagers and they go to a school or um, university, young people, then they begin to have a performance and they go, oh, that's awful. I cannot do that. So that worry begin to increase and be excessive. So I begin to feel fear, and that begin to create an avoidance behavior. And that avoidance behavior decrease the performance, because if you are feeling so fear to go in the front of the classroom, if you feel so uncomfortable to be showing your work to your coworker, what you do? I'm trying to not go because if I'm having a stomach pain, I'm feeling sick, I can go to work, but I'm feeling so bad, then I cannot do my job. So that is how stress can convert in anxiety, and anxiety going to be a disorder already. So it's coming from a level that I was able to manage to a level that is impacting my performance, not only in the job. If I do a sport, can be affecting the ability to perform under pressure. We see now we are in the Olympics, and we see a lot of these athletes, then they are able to do the deep breathing, close their eyes. But I have in previous Olympics, then some performance, then they are one of the best in the world. They was not able to perform due to anxiety. So this is very serious. We need to have it in consideration and have with us different skills that we can develop in order to feel good with ourselves. We go to the next slide, please. So, anxiety can impair my decision making, can impair my concentration, and sometimes we not think, but the motor skills also decrease. For example, what I was saying, if I have a student, they're going to be taking a test or exam, and they are not feeling good, so they're beginning to have trouble recalling the information. It's not that they don't know the information. They know the information. They're able to explain to you. If you are outside and you are the professor, you are a coworker or a classmate, they're able to tell you everything. But when they go to the classroom, they are thinking that that test is so important, that our brain has a system that is like a program before. And when I say before it was like, imagine then when we were living in the caverns. So the human being has to defend themselves. So anxiety and stress is a program that comes with us in our brain to defend ourselves. So a lion is coming to attack you. You cannot be thinking, oh, this lion going to attack me, or they wanted to pet me. No, no. Your brain has to react and react in terms of being very aware of what is happening or shut down. So in that way, your system has to be, when I say your system, your nervous system, your parasympathetic system, your nervous system going to be your brain will help you to think. The parasympathetic going to help you to act right away. So we'll be there in order then defend you. But what is happening is you don't have to defend for a test. You have to perform, so you have to take that information. The same then in the work. In the work, I don't have to defend myself. I need to do the test. So it's very important to know then you can relax yourself, and I'm going to do the strategies in a few, but then you can relax and you don't have to be defensive. We go to the next slide. So in terms of the stress in the work performance, that's going to lead to burnout because it's so much that you are trying to be like fighting with yourself to be present, to be concentrating, to be able to do your job. Then that job satisfaction begin to decrease, impair your decision making, and you begin to feel sick sometime. The same in the academic performance that I was explained before, your test can have poor grades because you have trouble recalling the information. You can begin to procrastinate the information, and that will be able to affect in a very bad areas there. I wanted to present then if we are working and you are in a situation like this, we're going to have the strategies, the deep breathing, but the job the job, the employees, they have different solutions. And in the universities also, they have counselor, and is another programs that is done in order to help you with anxiety. So it's a solution there. We go to the next slide, please. So, like we say before, the sport performance can be able to be decreasing. And in terms of the physical symptoms, we have headache, muscle tension, fatigue, rapid heartbeat, and digestion issues. In the rapid heartbeat, I wanted to go there because if you're having a very high level of anxiety and severity, you can finish with panic attack. And the panic attack is awful because you are feeling like you will be a heart attack, and when you go to emergency room, the doctor tell you everything is all right, and you go, how you want to tell me then everything is all right when I cannot move my left hand, when my heartbeats are so fast, when I'm almost not able to breathe, I'm feeling shocking, when I'm sweating, I'm cold at the same time. But they do the electrocardiogram and they comes normal, and you say no, something is wrong. You go and they send you to be to the cardiologist, to the physicians, and everything come normal. Yes, it's come normal. It's not that nothing is happened to you. It's that your body is trying to react to an emergency that did not exist, and that is how you are feeling in that way. So when you having this, that's part of your emotional symptoms too. You can have, like I said before, irritable mood swing, feeling overwhelmed, lack of motivation to go. Internal behavior symptoms, you're going to procrastinate, change appetite. You can eat too much, You cannot eat. I don't know if you're having, when you hear, oh, I have the nervous munchies, then you eat more sweet. It's because when you're eating sweet, you release something that they call it dopamine, and that is a neurotransmitter, a substance in your brain that allow you to feel better. And with the sugar, you have that, but they are not healthy for you. So, and that balance is what we are looking there. We go to the next slide. So I was explaining then before, if you was able to see like a lion, you have to be, you don't need to be thinking if you want it to be pet or that going to be attack you. That is a response that you're going to have, then it's automatically, and they call it fight or flight. So, and that goal in your brain is like when you are thinking, it's going to use more your precortex, cortex in the front lobe, and when you react is about in the back of your brain is going to be more the amygdala. In that moment of stress, then you think that is an emergency, your brain going to respond with the amygdala. And that is all that changes that you are feeling. Like the tense of the muscles, your brain is your heart is beating, your brain has a response right away. So that comes with fight or flight. And that is what we say that is part of the program that our brain is come with, but we don't need it most of the time. And when we go with a lot of stress and anxiety, the brain is going to fight or flight thinking, then they have to respond to a emergency that is not there. So we go to the next slide. So we say that in many areas. So a prolonged negative perception of stress will be having difficulty in chronic health issues, emotional disturbance, and cognitive impairments. If you see, I'm giving here a very emphasis that is a perception, and I'm going to explain that in a few. We go to the next slide. So why I was saying then I was giving emphasis to the negative perception, because if we change that perception and we use mindset that involves changing the perception to positive perception, that all symptoms not have to happen in you. So we as a human being has the ability to grow the mindset and belief and develop a new perception in terms of stress and anxiety, so we can overcome that challenge. And we go to the next slide because we're going to see some concepts that are so important in here to overcome that negative perception. So I is when I overcome that negative perception and stress, and I develop a positive perception of the stress, the positive perception of the stress is what we call it eustress. And when we use that eustress, then is the positive perception, all the negative stuff that I was talking change. So when I have the situation, I can see I will be able to talk in front of the audience. They will be able to hear me. I will be able to have the test, and I will be able to recall the information and put in there. So what's going to happen in my brain is changing and having a balance, and I'm going to have motivation. My concentration going to increase, my performance going to be enhanced, and I'm going to improve my well-being. So we go into that next slide. Then you see how that stress going to be helping me to produce a physical response that be healthy. So now my heart, they have different research where they're showing when you have a stress, then is the positive perception about the stress, your heart more than be able to have a heart attack, will be working in a different way and going to be working as it's going to be you've been doing exercise and protecting your heart. So now that new perception is helping also to protect yourself. You increase adrenaline, and when you increase adrenaline, you're going to be more able to focus and improve performance. So it's not so much about how bad is the stress, it's how I'm thinking about the stress right now. So what we need to do in order to see the situation in a different way is going to be exactly the same situation. The situation is not changing. What is changing is your perception, how you are thinking about that situation. So I can begin to practice gratitude. So if maybe, like I will say, I'm in the vacations and I lost the train, or my flight was delayed, I can be thinking I continue in vacations. That is a hoop there, but I can use this time to be looking for the other train. Is a different adventure. So now I'm practice gratitude. I'm going to be self-compassion with myself. I'm not going to say, oh, you did this wrong, you're supposed to do it in with more time, or you left everything for last minute. No, you do that self-compassion with yourself, and be honest. It's not go positive 100% where you are not able to be realistic. No, you go in a realistic path in what is happening. And very important, you refrain that negative thought. So what we means we refrain negative thoughts, so your brain going to tell you, you was not able to do it, it was a wrong way. But no, the reality is the situation happens, is a solution there. How we look for that solution that will be able to be in my advantage and an advantage to the others. So effective strategies will be deep breathing, and you're going to say, if you don't understand this, because I was not able to breathe. Yes, you are able to breathe. Your body is telling you, then you have to react so quickly. When you do that deep breathing, that is in your diaphragm, what is happening is then you're telling to your body, to your brain, be relaxed. So can be relaxed and be stressed and anxious at the same time. But if you are not changing your thought process, what is happening is then your brain continue thinking in negative thoughts, and is telling you then it's a real emergency. So that the breathing is not effective. So we do that this breathing, and at the same time we go and telling them you are safe, then it's not an emergency, and then you can continue be looking for alternative of what is happening. So we are be able to use a lot mindfulness, and that will be helping me to decrease that anxiety and stress. And what is mindfulness? Mindfulness going to be is that exercise that help me to manage stress in a positive and balanced way. So the deep breathing, the positive visualization, the self-talk. Self-talk is a very good alternative. The only is then sometimes they say if you talk to yourself, you are not good. No, 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 you're talking to yourself anyway in your brain when you are saying negative stuff that is not happening. So you're going to talk to what is happening right now, and that help you to manage that stress. So very important, regular exercise. When we are talking about that entrepreneurs then is working like 16 hours on being not be able to see then the a business is growing. So we need to find that balance. And what happened is that when we do regular activities exercise, they what going to happen with my neurotransmitter, then they are going to be sustained in my brain, they're going to be balanced. So walking, do yoga, jogging, you are not losing your time, you are being more you are using your time more savvy, and more important, that walking, that jogging, that yoga will help you to perform better. So if you will be seeing it, what you are trying to do is balance hormones to improve your mood. And when you are in a better mood and more stable, you are able to perform better. So that is so important that now some of the agencies and company is giving a lot of time to people, to the employees, to go and do exercise, healthy eating habits. So we not think that eating will be balanced also, or hormones and neurotransmitters. So some fruit that will help us going to be the berries, the nuts, vegetables can be very helpful to manage what is the stress. So you can have some snack in your desk, and you can have it with you once in a while. If you see their fruits, they are not the sugar from the candy, so we process that in a different way. We're eating, we're doing exercise, we're doing deep breathing, we are talking to ourselves, but sometimes because I have so much work to do, we have lack of sleep. And that is a key. And more for a student and entrepreneurs, we think, oh, if I have the test, you don't understand. I need to study 14 to 16 hours. What happened is, then if you are not sleeping, your body will not be able to recall the information. So, and that will increase your stress. So please be able to sleep adequate for everybody. So when we are able to sleep good, we are be able to go and manage my stress better because I'm in balance. I feel more refreshed, and I'm able to be able to think better. So another way to be able to manage the anxiety going to be with cognitive behavior therapy. That is a fancy way to say we have techniques that going to be in terms of what you are thinking and how you are behaving in order to be in a better way and be more balanced with yourself. So one of that techniques can be in turn to be that doing that self-talk to yourself. Practice reconstructive and thought monitor techniques. You can have a journal. Right now we have our um, cell phones, we have many apps. In that apps we have journals. You don't have to begin to writing a lot if you don't like it, but that app help you with emojis, helping with draw, so then you know what is happening with yourself, what you are thinking when you are in a stressful situation, and how you can change that thought process. And when you have a situation that's similar, you can go to the app and say, oh, I did that before, I'm able to manage this. So relaxation techniques, like I said, deep breathing, be able to do positive visualization, do the yoga, and the relaxation exercise, they are very, very helpful. So in other areas that is very stressful sometimes going to be the time management. So create a to-do list, but this is very important. You wanted to prioritize your tasks, and you don't wanted to have 10,000 sticky notes, because that is my to-do list. Because if not, you're going overwhelmed. You have only one to-do list, and when you finish, you can mark and you can add different things. So continue having things, but we know what is happening. And be nice and kind with you. Say, okay, I was able to do it. Other area than research shows that is very important is social support. When I'm able to talk about what is happening, what they and that other person, the only that has to do sometimes is hear yourself, because you sometimes provide your same answer to your questions. But when you are able to talk about it, your body begin to process different neurotransmitter and hormones that help you to balance yourself. And that is very important to have. Sometimes I'm able to talk with somebody else. Very important. If you is nothing wrong to you to be looking for professional help, and it's many professional help that is there in outside. You can use psychology, therapist, counselor, and now we have this about internet, and you can do internet in your areas. So it's there, it's available. So use that strategies to help you. So, and very important, you can build resilience. Why is resilience, or what is resilience? It's the ability to bounce back from challenge and adversity. So when you develop resilience, you are able to say, I was able to cope with anxiety and stress. So, and how I build that resilience? Practice the self-care, positive coping skill, being building a strong relationship, and be optimistic about what is happening in front of you. Optimistic and realistic. So, in conclusion, stress and anxiety can be significantly impair what it is the performance in various fields like work, academic, and sport, but it's more about the perception that I have in terms of the anxiety and stress. So, if we are able to manage that perception and transform that perception to a positive perception, then is what we call it eustress, and we develop positive coping skills like deep breathing, mindfulness, meditation, physical exercise, and a very healthy habits of eating, and we give a permission to sleep good, we're able to be in balance with stress and anxiety. So remember about building resilience, be nice, be kind with yourself, use the previous experience that you were successful with the stress and anxiety, and know that you are able to do it. It's been a real pleasure to be with all of you today.
I love the presentation. I was taking notes. I think the time that we're practicing to go live, it was worth it because it really, this presentation touched my heart and my mind with all the topics that you mentioned. When you talk about focusing on the present, not in the past or the future, that is so true that we all the time regretting about things that we did and things that we didn't do, or we're all the time thinking about the future, that we never enjoy the present. And that is very important, especially as an entrepreneur. You're all the time thinking about your company, what else you can do in the future, what other project you implement, or maybe thinking about things that you did wrong, or projects that you did in the past. But you don't focus on what you have in the present at the same time that can affect your personal life. I love that part. What is the best way to focus on the present and enjoy the present regardless the circumstances?
I love the question, Maria, because the best way is different techniques. One of the techniques, they call it tapping. And you're going to say, tapping? Who on the tap? What that means? Okay. So what it means is they have different way. I'm going to explain how the books showing and how I recommend. Okay. So tapping, they said you tap yourself here and here, but when you are tapping, these areas are very connected internal nerves, so that will maintain you in the here and the now. But that is a reminder for you to tell to yourself what you are doing now. So that thought then going like, oh my gosh, I have to produce $1 million this year. What goes is right now I'm producing 25,000, but that is what I'm working with right now. So that not means that you're not going to be doing the 1 million, because that is in the end of the year. You have to be in what you are doing right now. So be in touching that areas. What does is maintain is a reminder that you will be in the here and the now. Is physically, so you're touching, but you're changing your thought. It's very weird if you are entrepreneurs and we are in a meeting, then you're going to be doing this. It's going to be looking weird. So I said, then you can touch for your tight, and that looks like you are follow the beat of the music. It's not looks weird. And you have a lot nervous there, so you will feel it and you will change your thought. So when you are anxious or stressful, this is the movement. No. We wanted to do it in control slowly and you self talk to yourself. So I think that is one of the best techniques to stay present in the here and the now, because your thought is going at 1 million an hour. You're having racing thought, or you're going back to the past saying, oh my gosh, I was not able to do it. No, right now, this is what is happening. And while other technique there is not be extra positive. The majority of the people say, oh, be positive about it. No, no, be realistic about it. You're not going to be a negative, but you're not going to be too much positive. Then after that, you feel frustration. You go realistic what is happening in the here and the now.
Yeah, that's that definitely to try to focus on the present by the techniques you just mentioned. And when you say about not going to none of the extremes, that's important, because I know people that is super positive, and I say, okay, you don't need to be extra positive about situations or extra negative. So finding the balance, I think, is the right way to do it. During the presentation, also you mentioned about techniques for us to reduce the stress, because you mentioned that the stress is produced also for lack of performance based on, let's say that we have specific goals and we're so stressed that we're not able to achieve those goals. So you mentioned about having a journal or relaxation techniques, but something that got my attention is the time management and the to-do list. And sometimes we procrastinate, things that we don't want to do, we keep postponing and postponing and postponing, and that causes a stress, more stress. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then the next day, oh, I haven't done it, and it's every day. So what is the best way to push yourself to do the things that you, I'm not going to say hate, but you don't want to do at the first place?
Internal procrastination is a very interesting topic. So we can do another for procrastination, but in this area in a specific, I'm going to be very general. So when we procrastinate, we have two areas, and it was a investigator that was Dollar. Then he talked about frustration, and with frustration, he talked about procrastination. So, and what we say internal procrastination, do not procrastinate only the things that you hate to do or you dislike. You also procrastinate the thing that you think that is too easy, because it's too easy for why I need to do it now. If I had something that need more attention, but this is too difficult or I dislike it, I let to the side. So what we try to manage internal procrastination is trying to do, the key in this presentation is balance. So it's trying to find that balance where you can be doing a test, then you have interest with a test that you are not so interested on. So in that way, you don't have to procrastinate it. So in that to-do list, you can put you prioritize there, but you not procrastinate it, because you are able to put it and mix them together.
Wow, very interesting. I know that I have so many questions, and actually people also were sending some questions, but I'm gonna just try to mention a few. Another point, yeah, there is a question about the stress. Do the stress and anxiety drive you to want to take your life? That the
If
stress
you
can take you to that position?
Well, if you are not able to balance stress and anxiety, you can have you can have different disorder that will not allow you to be living a comfortable way. But by fact, you can develop some phobias from anxiety, and you will not be able to work. You will not be able to be out of the house. By fact, we have in many research after the pandemic then show how the stress impact different professionals in trying to be working. Yes, stress and anxiety can be changing your life dramatic. And we have a lot FMLA. FMLA is part a federal law in the United States then allow then the employee will not be able to work due for a physical health situation major, and we have a lot people that are not able to go to work due the gravity and severity of the anxiety. The answer is a yes, but we can balance that. We can work is a lot helps. So please look for the help that is there.
You know that all these, let's call it therapy, right? Like trying to focus on not being that stressed or turning the stress in a positive stress, like you mentioned. When you know that you are in a position, in a level where you really need to take medication. So when you know the difference, when you can tell the difference.
I love the question, Maria. This is an excellent question. So not only when I need to take the medication, but also when I need to go through the therapy. Your life, your daily life will be changing. So you will not feel comfortable to be talking with the people, or you are so irritable, then you not wanted to socialize, but your work performance going to be also affected, going to be affecting your academic if you are doing so. And in terms of the medication, the best treatment then the American Psychology Association and the American Psychiatric Association recommend is psychotherapy and medication. So the person will feel it. I have when they have panic attack that awfuls. So they are going to emergency room because they are thinking that they're going to die. If we are not in that extreme there, but we begin to feel like I don't want it to be out of the bed, or I cannot talk with the people at my daily routine change, it's time to be looking for help. You feel it, you know it. You can be in denial sometimes because somebody asks you, do you have stress? Oh no, everything is all right. But your shoulders is like, I have this back pain and I don't have any back condition, but I cannot stay. Your body is talking to you. Hear
Mm,
your body. Do not be put in silence to your body. Oh, these knees, what they are taking. Because some people is very, if you are entrepreneurs, you have a lot to do in your daily day. So be able to hear my body. They think I'm losing my time. You are not losing your time. You are putting more effort, and you will be more productive if you are relaxed, if you are able to think, and you're able to focus.
I love it. This webinar was excellent. I think that everybody should be watching and playing again and again and taking notes about all the tips that Dr. Rios shared with us today. Thank you so much again for making the time to introduce this wonderful and important and needed, I will say, topic for everybody. This is a I believe that this can be just the first part. We need to do a second part about we talk about procrastination. I think that's a very interesting topic that perhaps you can teach us and share with us more information in the future, Dr. Rios.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity because I think that you are doing a very nice work and very important work for society in order to show information that people can be using for their well-being.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rios. And again, thanks. This seminar webinar every month is presented by Mendez University. If you want to learn more about the school and the different programs they have, please visit the website. Mendez is everywhere. It's a global institution that has, I would say, branches, campuses in different cities, states, course in Puerto Rico, and the online program as well. So remember, Mendez is a bilingual university, English and Spanish, but they have so many modalities that, believe me, there's no excuse for you not to take that step and pursue your education, your dream in education. Thank you so much again, everybody, for watching this webinar. We see you next time, next month. Everybody, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.